And good morning, all, on this Monday, January the 19th. Good morning, Watchmen. I've seen you slipping in there with your dancing cat. Hope all is well this morning. Hope you had a great weekend. It's been a cold weekend. Watched some really good football. Spent some time with my wife. I had to spend a little extra time with her and enjoyed Sunday morning with you. I did not broadcast last night. We just was just busy. I thought that might happen. So, but we're back at it today. We do have tonight. We have, I believe, I got to check the schedule. Well, I believe tonight and tomorrow night we have interviews with more racing in the dirt report, dirt track drivers. I know tomorrow's, and I can't remember I don't want to say the name because I'll get it wrong. Tonight, this afternoon, back with Dean on the racing hour. The racing hour tonight and tomorrow night we'll be interviewing those folks. Full on show tonight, though, racing and sports. Tomorrow night we'll get the interview in and maybe a couple other little things. We'll see. Looking forward to that. Over the weekend, posted some results from the Chili Bowl and just had some fun with that. Boy, it was amazing football over the weekend if you're into those things. And, we'll talk about all the coaches hiring, the injuries, massive injuries to players. We'll talk about some of that as well. As you kick your week off and your Monday off, yesterday kicking week off, but a work week for a lot of people, Monday is the kickoff to the work week. Let's get our scripture in Galatians chapter 3, verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for you are all in one in Christ Jesus. Amen. God is no respecter of person, and nobody is better than anybody else. That's good for me to know because I'm not very good. I'm thankful for whatever good I am. It's all because of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm glad he is in my life, and without him, I am nothing. We'll also venture on to our National Day today. We have 3 National Day todays. Of course, it is a national holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that is celebrated the third Monday in January. No banks, no schools. The kiddos are oh, that's a dancing pug. Sorry. I just glanced, not the cat, the pug. I see it now. I thought you might be celebrating cat, my friend. Hey, it is good morning. That'll get you stirred up. Call the pug a cat. That's cool. It is National Imagination Day. Do you have a good imagination? Some people have fantastic imagination skills. Others do not. I have a pretty good imagination. Don't know where it ranks on the scale of imagination abilities, but I have a pretty good imagination. It is also, which I like, there's always one that stands out to me more than others. No disrespect intended to people who have went on and are not with us anymore, but I am a fan of National Popcorn Day. I do like popcorn. There was a time when me and my wife probably ate popcorn every day. We have scaled back some, but we do eat popcorn. We used to really get into it. We'd have the whole popcorn night where we would have we were testing different seasonings and stuff. There was one that we really liked. I don't remember the name of it now. It was great. I just loved the seasoning that we had. We had this, you always got to have a big bowl. We did. I'm not talking about microwave. Nothing wrong with that. I've ate microwave popcorn. Some of it's pretty good, but I'm talking about actually, making your own on the top of the stove. That was, it never seemed like you had enough. You'd make it and the kids would get in on it and we'd just all sit around eating popcorn and watching a show or something. That was family time. But we really used to get into it. We had some friends that really kind of, I guess, we liked popcorn already. We kind of got us started down that road. We, you know how it is, couples, they didn't have kids. We did, but, it's kind of like couples thing. It was Jiffy Pop. Definitely remember Jiffy Pop. We used to go hang out with them. We'd go to eat together. We'd go to concerts together. Their marriage fell apart. It just ruined our relationship. It's amazing. Marriages breaking up just don't end, the marriage. It ruins everybody else. Couldn't hang out no more, It just didn't work out. A couple with one, they weren't with other people. And the other one, he was Oh goodness, that's a long time ago. But he lost his head. Stupid, stupid. Oh, I thought they had a pretty good thing going, and he ruined it. He definitely ruined it. But um, I just ended it for us. But we used to go to their house, and we would have these. We'd have just popcorn in a movie. I mean, it was kind of a cool thing, and that's when we really started experimenting with different seasonings. And I mean, it's funny how a little memory like that will just take you back. But I hadn't thought about them in a long time. But that was a big part of our life there. For how we met. How we met was not so funny. I mean, it was not. Was nothing wrong with how we met. We met at work, and it was a simple. I got in trouble. I've told this story before. The guy needed to ride home. We were working second. The guy. I took him home, and we ended up just talking. Getting to know each other. It's the middle of the night. It's like we had to work over, so it was like 2:30 or something. We got to his house. So I'm just talking. Next thing I know, it's daytime. Like, oh, man, I'm toast. And I'm driving home thinking there was no cell phones back then. I'm thinking I just slip in the house. While I was probably asleep. Nada. Front doors open, waiting on me. Oh, but we ended up becoming great friends. Once she met them, she's like, okay. She thought I'd out with some girl or something. We had been. We had one son. I think Jeremy was just a baby. Yeah, he was just a baby. We didn't have both sons then. I'd met them pretty early. We hadn't been married long, so it was young couples, and they were a little bit, close, a little bit older than us. I think a little bit older than us. So it was kind of cool. But what favorite seasoning? Golly, man. I mean, I got to go back a ways on this one. I'm trying to think because we tried all that, Mrs. Dash and all that stuff, and I honestly don't remember now what we settled on. I know we bought it in the store. We didn't make our own. Some people really get into that. They'll make their own, but I can't remember the name. If you was to say it, I'd probably remember, but it was just I don't get into radical stuff. Like, I wouldn't want barbecue like seasoning or something on my popcorn or nothing like that. But it was not Mrs. Dash or something like that. I like that white cheddar popcorn. My wife loves that. Obviously we like it buttery. I'm not big, and I can eat it. And I know it's better for you, but the air pop and all that, I'm not really into that. It's got to have a salty taste to it, man. I mean, but yeah, I can see it was something along those lines, but we used to just douse it in that stuff. It was a brand, but it wasn't that one. It was a different one. And that has been, good Lord, over 30 years ago. I mean, my son is closing in on 40. He'll be, in fact, he'll be 40 this year. He'll be 40 years old this year. So he was, at the time, he was just a baby. So yeah, this has been almost 40 years ago. And we probably were friends for, I don't know. It's hard to remember how long, because I don't remember how, 2 to 4 years, 5 years, somewhere in there. I'd say closer to 4. But we used to hang out a lot. I bet Old Bay seasoning would be good on popcorn. I don't know that I've ever had that. Very possibly. That's definitely could be. If you like a seasoning, something that's good. I mean, it's got to have a little bit of something to it. Get your taste buds going. Now I will say this: full disclosure. My wife never did, but this was back in the days of a little bit of roll them up. So the popcorn even got more. Just saying, this was the seasons and all became enhanced by the munchies that one would have. So full disclosure. Oh my goodness. So maybe I don't remember too much about those days, but yeah, I like popcorn. We were into the what's the old guy that he's still out there? The popcorn as I cannot think of that. I never can think of names. But Orville Redenbacher, that's it. We used to get into that. That was big for a time. The Jiffy Pop, we've done that. There was another top too, and I can't remember what top it was. Old Bay is good on fish, shrimp, crab, and also potatoes, baked, fried, French fries, and baked fried, French fries, and chicken. Okay, bro. I'll try that. Old Bay. I don't know that I've ever had it, to be honest with you. I really don't know. Old Bay seasoning. I'll check it out. I do a little grilling for the family. I'm not ever going to say I'm in the. My family loves it, and I just never cook for anybody else because people are so. I was talking about this last night. People are so picky, and they like what they like, and people are very brutal about their reviews about cooking because they take that serious, and I just don't care for it. It's like my family loves it. And that's all that matters to me. I'm not doing cooking contests because that's not my gig. And I think it's neat. And I've tested around. I found out the tried and true of what my family likes, and that's good enough for me. So there's a lot of people that they consider themselves the master grill and all that. I think Paul likes to do that. Rob today used to talk about he really gets into that. That's not my gig. I just, I'm not into that. I'm not getting into the cooking shows, and I'll talk about what I like. I've covered recipes and stuff, but I'm not really into those things. I used to cook a lot for employee meals, and people are so people are so just I don't like this like this. You can't never please everybody. I mean, it runs the gamut. We used to joke around about well done versus medium rare, medium, all that stuff. But you can't please everybody. I mean, you make it. I had people get mad at me. They said the steaks were too big. You buy it the way you buy it. I mean, it was a thick cut steak. Oh, it's too big. Just cut it in pieces and put the rest up. Good grief. You can make a mean chili. That's another area. Actually, the best, I couldn't stand it because I can't handle hot things. I can't. I just cannot handle hot foods, spicy foods. It just really messes me up. And I don't like to burn in my mouth. A little spice, a little bit. But my neighbor made the best chili ever for taste. I just couldn't handle it. He never wrote the recipe down. He just get in the kitchen and make it. All of his foods were hot though. Everything he made from it could be hush puppies, it could be frying sausage. It didn't matter. Everything would blow you up. And he had a restaurant here in it was in Chattanooga, and the guy wanted his recipe. He wanted to sell it in his restaurant. He was such a fan of it. He said, I can make it, but I can't tell you how to write. I can't. It was never written down. It was just he just did it, And so the guy he wanted to sell it. I mean, he was going to cook it and sell it in a restaurant, but he's also going to market it, And it just never happened. But I will tell you, it was, as far as taste, not the burn, it was the best tasting chili I ever had. Because him and his wife, they could really cook. But they had burned their taste buds out years ago, decades ago, probably. And everything they had was hot. I mean, it didn't matter what it was. It was like, I asked my best friend was her grandson. I said, "Did they make anything that's not burn your mouth out?" I mean, maybe ice cream. It didn't matter. It just burned you up. Like, come on, man. I can't handle that. Call me weak. I don't care. My wife can handle. My son can handle that. One of them. They like that. They like that little bit of. Well, it's more little. They say, "Oh, you gotta have a little bite to it, Dad." And I'll say, "Well, a little bit." You're talking flamethrower, man. Are you kidding me? I don't like that. I can't handle that. It's too hot. But I get, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's different. So, reviews are brutal when it comes to food. So I just cook for my family, and I like doing that. Watchman says, my sister showed me how to make chili over the years. I've modified it. Put a little smoky sausage in, shrimp. Interesting. I don't think I've ever saw that. But I know people that would love it. I'm a pretty straight down the line when it comes to chili. I like My wife makes some, and she knows how to make it where I like it. It still has a little bit of bite for me. My son, he'll add a little bit because it's not quite what he wants, but he likes it. Everybody likes it. But she makes hers with a lot of hamburger meat, chunky, kind of a chunky chili, which I love it. But when you turn the ages I am, I mean, you can do that meal and maybe one leftover, then you kind of have to move on to something else, or it just not good on you. Kind of messes me up, but I like it. In fact, we were talking about it's a little colder right now. She has the oyster crackers and stuff ready to go, so I believe she's probably bought the mixings for the chili, and we'll have to get that done. Those things we just go by her spec. She can't really cook it anymore, but we'll do it. Yeah, I think you got to use a lot of ground beef. I'm not big on the whole soupy, tomato soupy kind of chili. It's got to have some chunk in it, man. And what's the point of beanless chili? I mean, I'm not going to do that either. Of course, nowadays things are so expensive. You have to search to find the beans or whatever in it. It's whatever it is. They cut it down to just about nothing now. What was that line out of True Grit, the original, the only one to really watch for me, when they had chicken and dumplings. Watch your eyes. You go blind looking for the chicken or whatever he said. I like that line. You can eat mine with a fork. That's the way I like it. I like it like that. Pardon me. Actually, it's a bad thing to do. It's a bad thing to do. But honestly, I can eat chili without the fork or spoon at all. I like crackers or those scoop chips. It's not good for you. I just like scooping mine on something and eating it like that. I don't really like eating it with the other. Yeah, pintos is definitely in ours. And then I know there's one type of kidney beans in hers. I don't remember if it's two tops, but I know one top. And because I've had to go buy it before, she'd say, sometimes I have to call her and be reminded, but I know there's one top in the pintos. But yeah, it's good. It's good in my mind. It's good. So yeah, National Popcorn Day today. Awesome. Birthdays today. Dolly Parton is 79 years old today. Excuse me. And she looks good for 79. I'll say that. Almost 80. So 79. Jodie Sweetin from Full House, 43 years old. That don't seem right. She was so little, I guess, when I was watching her. But 43 years old. Salty Mouth. If you've ever watched her podcast, woo, she lives to get a little salty. But, she had a tough time in her life, drugs and stuff at one time. So that probably developed out of that. But, I mean, I like her. I mean, she's okay, but I'm not a big fan of that. But what else? Robert E. Lee was born today in 1807. Mars Lee. God bless you, sir. They pick on you. He was an awesome man of honor, a duty, an engineer, very much a compassionate man, and left his last few years were helping to lead to college, what became Washington and Lee College, leading men into sharing the gospel. That's what they did. And he spent the last 5 years of his life leading that college and sending men out with the gospel. Edgar Allan Poe was born 2 years after Robert E. Lee on this date. The poet. Oh, let's see if there's anybody else. Shawn Wayans, 54 today. Actors from the Wayans family. That may be it. Let's see here. I don't care for all the... Well, Janis Joplin, never cared much for her singing, but a lot of people do. 1943. Short life, died in 1970. That may be it. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. See if we can slide one more in this morning. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. The legendary Paula Deen, who took a lot of heat once in her life, but she has survived. 78 years old today. I think she's won the game of life. Michelle from right here in Georgia. Savannah, I think it is. And Paula Deen. Yeah, General Robert E. Lee. What an amazing individual. Read several books on him. Really, people that just don't know. They just go with what's written in history. He led this, the rebellion. He led. No, they don't know anything about him. He was a stubborn man, though. It cost him too. He was very stubborn. Showed up at Gettysburg. Really should have did that a little different, but that's the way history goes. Offered to resign after that battle, was of course refused. Who are they going to put in his shoes? I mean, he had just lost Stonewall, right before that, and he needed him at Gettysburg for sure. But amazing man. His sons, in fact, one of his sons was the first commander of, I believe it was, Sons of Confederate Veterans, and yes, Confederate soldiers are veterans. United States observed. They are veterans of these United States. They got that certification designation a long time ago. And I believe it was Gerald R. Ford who pardoned, after all that time, Robert E. Lee. So interesting. But it's interesting, gentlemen, to study. And he did some amazing things. Was in the Mexican-American War, which many of the generals were from the Point. They served down there. 46. He was more engineer down there, and early on in the war was engineer. They quickly asked him to lead the Army of Northern Virginia, which he just didn't leave Virginia, except to go north. He didn't lie. He didn't want to leave his beloved Virginia. He loved. That's what people don't get about states' rights. The state was the thing. You were really more into states' rights than you were national. Because national government, I mean, it was to be for national defense and commerce, over that. But the states ruled their own. I mean, had their own. There was a military. American military was very small back in those days. I want to think it was like 30,000 troops total for the United States military. It wasn't big at all. They had to amp it up for war, and they just never stopped. It always stayed big. And nowadays we have to have it. So maybe that prepared us in a way. But yes, that was his birthday today. Well, in the news today, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent does not believe that the SCOTUS will overturn the economic policy, and specifically the tariffs. In fact, the president is using more tariffs. Well, this thing with Greenland is heating up, right? I mean, it's heating up. Like, he's placing tariffs on countries that oppose us in this. It's getting hot. I mean, whether you like the move or you don't like the move, he is definitely making a move, the move on Greenland. I got a feeling it's going to have a name change soon. Saw a map the other day of other countries that have places in Greenland. It could get interesting for sure. And the president has readied 1,500 soldiers, many believe from Minnesota. That's the rumor mill. And the press is kind of reporting that now. It looks as though the president is about ready to declare Orange Land soon. Maybe. He's going to change the name. That's going to happen. If there's anything I know about him, he will change that name. He's going to say, that's not a good name. We need to have better name there. What? I just don't think Greenland is going to stay the same. It looks as though he's going to declare the Insurrection Act at Minnesota for the refusal to handle their issues, make it possible for American military to come into the city. This is going to, unfortunately, which is probably the leftist game plan. This is all avoiding a couple of major stories. One is the fraud out there. Excuse me. Fraud in Minnesota from possibly many leaders and or all those companies, that are propped up out there taking money hand over fist, in Minnesota and have been for a long time. But also Epstein, or there's a lot of other stories. All these stories are changed. That's what people notice that. It's true. Has the FBI arrested anybody last week? Are they close? We got some indictments. Any indictments out there? We get ready. We get the paperwork filed and ready. Anybody gonna be arrested for anything? I'm just wondering. Cash Patel, has anybody seen him? I've not even heard from him lately. I mean, I'm not saying he hasn't, you know, but has anybody heard from Cash? I mean, he especially when Bongino went back. Um, there's some news about his 28-year-old girlfriend in the news that she doesn't like um, her nickname, online nickname. This is being reported all over the internet. Um, but there's just no good news. I mean, um, the leftists are running all kind of articles trying to discredit him, which I don't. A sinister news about Cash Patel, and of course, 4 days ago, they were reporting that they searched the home of Washington Post reporter who'd been digging in the Trump administration on Wednesday. So there's that, but there's stuff. Where's the arrest? I mean, where's the arrest? This is all leftist news here. They got all kind of stories out there on him. But yeah, where's the major news? This is going to go down the time the FBI has been ineffective or doing nothing, maybe in the history of the FBI. What's her nickname? It's a 2-word nickname. Excuse me. What are they calling her? I don't let's see. Where's it at? Sorry, folks. If you see it, somebody post it in the chat. It's fine. I don't see the name in this story here. I'm not sure. Oh, honeypot. Honeypot. That's what they've called her, honeypot. She doesn't like that. Probably because of her age. I don't know. Yeah, honeypot. That's it. That's what they're saying. I didn't even heard that, but the left is poking that all over the internet. I'm sure it's related. There's a meme made about her, and it was on Instagram apparently from an account called broken_bow_country. It shows, and I've seen it on here. Skeletonized cowboy riding through the desert on a normal horse, and around him was text that read, "For the sake of heaven, you ought to give them H," along with the Midnight Rider song by the Allman Brothers. It's one thing they've got out there. I don't know, but I don't know. Does anybody even really pay attention to that? I mean, that's the left coming after and him. But I mean, what is he doing? What is Cash Patel doing? I just don't see anything. So, little bits of news here and there, but I just don't see anything. So, the U.S. envoys have slashed the UN budget by $570 million is in the news. Well, yeah, I get that. I get that, but I see that. You did guess right though. Yeah, they're trying tired of that too. Kind of an interesting one here. That our U.S. forces are building up our military presence in the Middle East with a possibility of an attack on Iran. 12 more F-15 jets arrived in Jordan over the weekend with additional fighter aircraft reportedly on the way. In addition, an aircraft carrier, strike group, and 2 destroyers are expected to enter the U.S. CENTCOM's area of responsibility in less than a week. U.S. officials told the Washington Post that all options are on the table. So if they want the options there in case he decides to do a strike. They on the ground in Iran. That's right, Jerry. I I was wondering what it was. I just seen the headline. Man, I'm so sorry. It's that cold weather just gets me. But they on the ground they're saying that it's hard to get news out of Iran because they killed the internet and they have killed a lot of people, arrested a lot of people. I don't know how nobody really knows how big these demonstrations are anymore. So is the pressure still on? Have they quelled it? I'm not sure. People on the ground that are opposition to Khomeini are begging the president to do something. So it looks like it might be a go. But what do you strike? Are we talking boots on the ground? Are we talking strategic strikes? I'm sure it's that at least. I mean, surgical strikes. Hitting things that could be used against the people. Do they go after him as well? That's interesting. Do they put one right in the old Khomeini home place? I don't know. This is definitely looking like there's going to be something happen. Watchman says that Erica Kirk was in a CIA instruction video. Saw that last night. I have not seen that. But yeah. But Kash Patel, what has he done other than his girlfriend getting called honeypot? And they say the search of a reporter's home. I just, and I'm not saying they're doing anything. I'm not there. I know that a lot of what they do is behind the scenes. And that's the whole idea of investigations. But we've been hearing that word investigation since they were elected. Since he was elected and they were put in, confirmed and all that. What have they done? I mean, I find it for over a year of being in office or right out a year, whatever. I don't see much, honestly, right out a year. I don't see much that's been done, from the FBI side. Not to say they haven't. They've probably stopped a few hits that we don't even know about. But yeah, what have they done? I just think his leadership was a failure of the FBI for all the problems it had. I don't think he's a manager of that. I think his inexperience. I hear he's kind of lazy, and it looks like it. I think he enjoys the title of being FBI. I think he likes the press conferences. I think he likes the attention. I just don't think that he's done anything to deserve being there. This is the FBI should be in action. I mean, certainly what's going on in our country, the FBI should be in the news quite a bit, I would think. Brother Jerry said she's a very attractive young woman. There is 19 years difference in their ages, but I question her choice of a companion. I mean, come on, he's he's uglier than I am. Well, I would say, I mean, it looks like, this is not a case of opposites attract. I don't think. Oh, riding the coat string, sugar daddy, whatever you want to say. I mean, I saw the picture. Yeah, it does not look that normal. Oh, Watchman says that Erica was also in a 2012 movie shot at Fort Akua, where she was on a rooftop with a sniper rifle. You can't make this stuff up. I have not seen that either. I'm not saying it's not there. I just haven't seen that. I hear you, Jerry. I mean, is that going to be the biggest thing that we hear out of his time as FBI leader? It's going to be the hostage video where he comes out, looked like the hostage, him and Bongino, about that Epstein was definitely not, killed. It was a suicide. I know suicides. I've seen them, what they said. Good morning. FBI should be in the news for letting pedophiles fly back to Israel. The charges in America having no extradition back to America is still our greatest ally. Well, they need to get something done. Watchman says Eric was in a stalker movie here. And you probably can't pull that out of StreamYard without, except take a picture of it and copy it. But in Rumble, if you're in Rumble, you can clip that address and see that Watchman's talking about. But yeah, I mean, let's. If people have broken law, I've said this from the beginning of even being on a podcast. If someone has broken the law, especially in the area of hurting children, I don't care who they are, what side they're from, rich or poor, or whatever. I don't care. If they're guilty, charge them, take them to trial, and if they're found guilty, they get what they get, and it should be extreme, and I don't care who they are. I no protection, no time served for good behavior, none of that when you're talking about children and the abuse of. Nada. Don't feel sorry for the royal, Andrew. Don't feel sorry for him or anybody else. I don't feel sorry for the lady in the prison. Don't feel sorry for her. She probably should have got a lot more time. She could have gave up a lot. She's not done it. She's just serving her time. But that's her right to not speak. She'll still be young enough probably to get out. And who knows what she'll do with her life. But I just do not like, I don't, nobody should be protected. Nobody. There was a case here in Chattanooga. Me and Paul have not talked about it, but it was all in the news up here. And it was a guy who was serving as a deacon in I don't know if it'd be considered a mega church, but it's a big church. And him and his wife was going through marital counseling or something. Anyway, he had a dental procedure, turned his phone off when he had it to her to hold. She went into it and searched it and found some videos that she turned over to police. They went to the home, and he had secret cameras set up in his bathroom where he took videos of a babysitter. It's the gist of the story. There's a few other parts to it. And, the church had found out about it too and encouraged, or called the police themselves or told her to call the police, whatever. He is not a deacon anymore in that church. It's a horrible story. This girl was, babysitting for them, and, look what he done. So he's got 9 charges. I think they found 9 videos of her, and there's 9 charges. It's an ongoing case. So I'm not using names or anything. I'll let that play out. But it was all in the news up here last week. And, if they say they have them, and if all that's true, he gets his time in court. And that's our judicial system, and he deserves the punishment he gets. Absolutely. Jerry said, if an adult is found guilty of sexually abusing or physically abusing a minor, then we should just go ahead and be biblical about it. Once the verdict is handed down, take them out behind the courthouse next to a pile of football-sized rocks and stone them. After 100 times, you won't hear very much about this going on again. Amen, Jerry. I just, what makes me mad is, as someone who's very involved with church and everything, we just get labeled like, oh, y'all protect other people. No, we don't. If they're doing that, people deserve to be in jail. You do not ever, we don't hide that. If we have, it doesn't matter who it is, brother, sister, whoever, so-and-so, if we found out as pastors that somebody is doing something like that, we're called the law. I mean, we're just not going to, that's just because you find some that did. In this case, last week, they didn't. They encouraged, they didn't know what was going on. It was at home. It wasn't at church. But see, because they go to church, it gets connected to the church, And then everybody was bashing the church up here. Oh, it's the typical, them church. You know what the phrase that kills me now? This is what kills me. This is one that makes me mad. And I see in every comment where it comes up a story like this. And they go, oh, it wasn't drag queens? Because, we pitched a fit about drag queens and story hour and book readings and all the stuff's going on. Yes, we will continue to hammer on that story. You better believe we will. It's disgusting. We're not shielding that. People, there are sickos that show up to church. They have hidden their sins. We don't know about it. I've seen it before. I went to a church once. It took us forever to overcome the stigma of somebody that went there. Nothing ever happened at the church. We found out there was something going on in the home, or they did. I wasn't going there at that time. I went there as a youth, and you'd hear that in the community. You'd go out and people say, "Oh, we stay away from that church. They shield, pedophiles." No, they did not. They didn't know anything about it. And I know one of the girls, and I have talked to her at many church services afterwards. Her dad is still in jail. She doesn't blame church. She serves the Lord. It just burns me up when I see that. But there is a website where you can see the sex offenders. Yeah, I have. Well, I mean, and it's everywhere. I mean, around where I live. I mean, you can go to the Georgia, site, and you can see all that because they have to register, and it's all around you. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's truly sad. And we got to protect our kiddos. We got to watch kiddos. We got to listen. We got to watch for indicators and all those things. But yeah, are we saying that only that lady and the dude that's dead and a prince or whatever he was, he's a royal, or is that it? Like there's nobody else? Come on. We knew there was more than that going on. These people should be taken down. Yeah, they run for places with no extradition treaty, But, it is in some cultures okay. They've okayed it. Maybe I'm not saying everybody does it because obviously there are people who are try to stand against it, but there are some cultures out there where it is. Our soldiers have come back damaged from this. I mean, in fact, there were major cases where soldiers were, traumatized, and in some cases actually took action against. In Afghanistan, we know this happened, and the PTSD off of that is unbearable for them. That they were doing things, like that. And they would hear that, and their commanders told them, "You can't interfere." Well, there was a couple of times where soldiers did, and they, it's just ugly. It's just an ugly, ugly thing, and I don't care who it is. I say that I don't care who it is. If someone's doing that and they're feeling, I'm like Jerry. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, before we get out of here, small town shout out today. Athens, Alabama. Athens, Alabama. Shout out to you. Founded in 1818. I've preached at a church in Athens, Alabama. Love the church. They were great. Good conservative church. But I would tell you, it's the first church that I was in. Now, I know it happened when I was probably before I was born. But it was the first church I ever went in. You'll love this, Jerry. We're shaking hands as me and the preacher. They were wonderful. They were very knowledgeable. Just a beautiful location. But it's the first time I'd ever welcomed people to the back of the church where one of the ladies come out and she had snuff running down both sides of her mouth. I was like, wow, is that normal? God bless you in Alabama. Up on the mountain, that's a mountain community, a lot up where I was at. Not the whole of Athens, but there's I shook hands. She was level-headed. Oh man, I had heard stories about that. I had never seen that in a church that I was in as a kid or as an adult. That was the first time. My wife was standing there and she just looked at me, and I whispered to her. I said, "That's some of your kinfolk," because some of my wife's family is from Hollywood, Alabama. Love y'all down there too. And I said, "That's some of your family right there." She gave me that look like, "You better watch it, boy." The city was founded in 1818 by John Coffey, Robert Beatty, and John D. Carroll and John Reed. It's one of the oldest incorporated cities in the whole of the state of Alabama, having been admitted or incorporated 1 year prior to the state's admittance to the Union in 1819. Limestone County is the county seat, and it was created by an act of the Alabama Territorial Legislature in 1818. The town, I didn't know this, the town was first called Athenson, but was incorporated as Athens after the ancient city in Greece. The town's first mayor was Samuel Tanner and the Tanner area south of Athens was named on his behalf. So interesting. There you go. Shout out to Athens, Alabama. I've never been to the county seat. I was up on one of those mountain communities, but it was Athens, Alabama. Yeah, level-headed, Jerry. I had never saw that. I was like, okay. I remember I had to go back. I left something at church. We're packing up and talking. We got in the car. And I mean, everybody split. Pastor and all. Boom. They're gone. And they had a nice cemetery there, really old. And I was going through that cemetery and looking at things, you know, and I came back to the car and I realized we forgot something. So I called, couldn't get in touch with anybody. So the next weekend, the pastor called me back like the next day. I think he didn't have, I don't even know if he had a cell phone. He finally got to my message on a home phone or something. And he said, I'm sorry, brother. And I had to drive back over the next week back to Athens, Alabama and get what I left. And they were great people, though. I mean, just a great service. Really enjoyed myself there. Growing up, my friend's granny dipped that powder snuff. She was always dribbling snuff juice out of her mouth. Now, I had a neighbor who did, so I'd seen it before. She was an old, they had came from Germany. And her this lady that lived next door, she was full on, very German sounding and everything, very stern. She'd get on to us. She was a kid when they come over with her parents, but I remember her sitting there. She was the no fun police. She was always getting on to us for trying to have fun. I never saw the lady smile. Now her daughter was amazing, but yeah, they were very, very. I couldn't understand her half the time, you know, because her English was very German sounding, and it was really hard because she didn't speak that much other than get on to us. That's the way it goes. Question: have I ever seen a new graveyard being built anywhere? Yeah, in my lifetime I have. There was one built not too far from where I live. It took a long time for it to kind of get off the ground. No, I don't know if that's the proper way, but it was connected. I don't know if it still is, to a funeral home in the area who started a new one, and it's really right near the town area. But it is they got a mausoleum there. They had started filling it up, but that's the only one that I know of that in my lifetime that has been built. But it started, I was probably in my 20s or 30s, I think, maybe 30s, probably 30s when it got started. Brother Jerry said, I preached in a church one time, had a wooden stove at the front of the church that heated the sanctuary, and you could hear the door creak and open, and even the sound of liquid hitting fire. It was an older woman spitting snuff inside of the heater. Everybody looked at me strangely because I started laughing when I figured out what was going on. Dude, these are great memories, right? I mean, you just don't forget that stuff, you know. I mean, I want to tell you, I wouldn't have crossed her. She looked tough, mountain tough. I told you they hit a little different on mountains anyway. I preach on mountain now. Love them. They look at us flatlanders a little different. You know, we're not as tough. Watchman says, I've never seen one being built in my life, and I find that strange. Well, I guess maybe they started so many that they just. Now, there are some filling up. Now, I will tell you this. The National Cemetery in Chattanooga is about full, and they've been trying for some time to figure out what they're going to do about that. And I think if I remember right, they've bought some land somewhere to establish more that they can bury in this area. But it has become, I need to look that up and see where that's at. But yeah, it's about full. And I don't know. I never thought about it. But a lot of the cemeteries I know still have some room left. They buy more land and they just keep the lifetime going. Eventually, it's going to just stop. I mean, there's some of them around here really, really full. And that's an interesting thought. I never thought about it. And it has slowed down the need of them because so many people for the money have went to cremation. So I would say, you know, cemeteries are offering all kind of deals and stuff. You know, now's the time to do it. I mean, if you haven't never bought your plots. One cemetery around here stacks them. They to maximize the land, they will stack. Whoever dies first goes lower. That is, I think, Hamilton Memorial Gardens, and that's in Tennessee. But they stack them. Yeah, how do you build empty land? Well, you clear for it and you put the stuff up. You got to cut the roads. You got to put the the area of, they have different areas are named different parts. So I guess in that is what he would say. You clear the land for it or whatever. Here you get a tax exemption on your property. Maybe. There's a lot of rules to that, but you can make it happen. But it's forever a burial place if you do that. But I know people have done that. Well, roadways possibly. But yeah, I would think with cremation taking hold, just the savings, there's still a lot of people being buried. Don't take me wrong, a lot, because a lot of people don't believe in cremation. But it has become, people don't have insurance. They don't have burial insurance. So they're scraping together the money to do that. It used to be so cheap. I mean, it was less than $1,000 for the cremation. But people don't even have a service. They just say they have a celebration of life. I did that for people at the church. So one of the churches I actually wasn't the pastor. I was like assistant, although I wasn't called that. We had a family that their brother, and it was a son brother, that they didn't have the money. They didn't even have a real urn. They had what they put it in until they would put it in an urn, the remains, I mean. And we did a celebration of life at our church. Obviously, I printed up the little cards for it. My pastor had to be out of town, so I preached that service. I got some singers lined up. Nobody in their family came, I think, but just them, maybe one or two others. It was a very small family. Bless their heart, they didn't have the money. And so that gave them some closure. They were so thankful. And I've done that a couple of times for people who didn't have money they didn't have money to bury, so they did as cheap as they could cremation. And let's see, my best friend's graves, his family on his land from the 1700s. Interesting. A lot of gold in the ground. Yet also dig up Sally when the economy gets bad enough. A lot of gold in that ground. That's old. That is old. My wife and I have a cemetery plot where we'd be buried side by side. I would not want to be buried beneath her because at times she gets ill at me, and I would tell her it's just the devil in her. The Bible said the dead in Christ shall rise first, and I want to make sure nothing is above me entering me. I thought it was kind of weird. I mean, I get it, the savings of space and all, but yeah, they stack them, man. That's a knockout punch, man, going through that other coffin. You gotta have the vault and all that, or the cover, whatever they call that. But look, can I just say, anybody that works in the funeral industry, be mad if you want. I need to get somebody on, because I need to get somebody on that's willing to share. It's going to have to be somebody that's probably retired or just been involved and left the business. Burials. Talk about scams. There are so many scams that have occurred with this rite of, life is death and burying, and little things they just don't tell you. We may do that. I'm going to see if I can find somebody that's been involved. I will tell you that Paul I will do that. Me and Paul will discuss Thursday. He may be out of town. I think he's going out of town. We'll discuss on the next Wolf Nation we do. He was involved with a little venture with selling caskets, if I remember right, at one time. And I'll tell you how ugly it got, or he'll tell you. He's told me how they came after him. Well, they'll come after you, man. Nowadays, I think you can go online and just buy you. But back then, man, they come after. But little things they do in burying that they don't, all this stuff about non-leakage and all that stuff. Come on, that's the biggest scam ever. Guaranteed not to leak for 25 years. What a waste of money. Anyway, we'll talk about the time. Um, I told him about that clause of no property tax. He was crying about taxes. He has like 300 plus acres. Well, that'd be interesting if it would cover all 300. I mean, to be honest, it sure would. If that would cover that for the whole thing, but that'd be a great discussion. We'll try to make that happen here soon. Uh, there's a lot. I remember once I was on jury duty, and we had a guy that was worked at one of the funeral homes, and he really had everybody's attention. He was telling lots of stories and stuff about what they do and how they do it. But I think it would be. Watchman says, I worked for a guy who billed him and his wife nice caskets, but that's illegal. So you have to call them hope chests and save yourself thousands. Yeah. Well, there's just stuff that happens when they go to bury somebody. And if you stay around, if you stay right at the burial site and watch all that, you notice what's going on, man. It's just, they try to hide it and stuff, but man, it's just a lot of people don't want to know because they don't want to. I get it. They're very upset. You don't want to think about the whole process of it. It's very hard. But if you can ever just look at it from a very detached way, it's not your loved one and someone you don't even know. And you can just notice things about stuff, you probably pay attention a little bit. You'll see stuff that I've seen the seedy side of it. I'll just say that. Now, I'm not saying the people involved are bad people. I know people that's involved. I just think that over time, many scams have been ran about funerals and stuff, and some of the stuff they say, it's come on. But that's an industry that really fights to preserve itself. They won't they don't want the people saving you money coming into to view. Because they got into the cremations as well. There was people that didn't want to get into that. Of course, we had the crematory story in our area where they weren't. They weren't cremating the bodies. That was an ugly story. Got worldwide attention. Just a few miles down the road from me is where that happened. So they definitely were scamming people. I mean, the boy took the fall for everybody, I think, but he's out of jail now, moved on. But there you go. I got to go, folks. We'll see you tonight. I think we'll have racing and sports. And yeah, Watchmen. They we're gonna have a show about that one night. We'll have some people on, and yeah, that's something I want to cover. It happened here. Can't run from it. It happened here. So, I mean, people in his own family detached from the. I don't know what the center point of that family knew. There's a lot of people question that. A lot of the people are dead now. But the extended family had no idea what was going on. They would go on local TV and say, we don't touch the dead. We don't like that. But they were, because they were all catching a lot of flack and they didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, it was in Georgia. It's about 5 miles from where I live. Maybe 5 or 6. It's not far. It's just within 5 to 6 miles of here where I'm sitting right now. So anyway, have a great day out there. Yeah, I will, Jerry. We'll definitely put it together. We'll just get the particulars. I'd like to see if I can get a couple of folks to come on. Yeah, man, that's in the area called Noble, and it's just not far from me. I mean, it's not. You can pull that up on a map, and it's just on the other side. It's just a few miles on the other side of the national battlefield. No, I couldn't actually. I don't know about down there. They buried a lot of them, man. Buried them. I mean, there were a few found sitting around, laying about, but right in the area, I don't know. There's a lot of people up here still got questions about that. I do too. A lot of people that was involved in the recovery have questions about it. A lot of people who are still looking for their loved ones, people who received concrete dust. They'll never know what happened. Their loved one was never found. There are many, if you go, by the way, I got to get going, but if you'll go to the state of Georgia at their website has, if it's morbid, I'm going to warn you, it's a little morbid, but if you don't mind that, They have many bodies that were never identified, and it gives you what they were found with. Meaning, did they have dentures put in? What clothing was there? Anything that they found with them to try to identify them. There were many bodies never claimed, and one of the local cemeteries buried them and put a marker there, a big marker for all of that. And that's closer to my home than even that was the crematory. But I will go get a picture of that, a little video of that. That's within like 3 miles of my home, 2 miles, probably 2 miles of my home, where a lot of them were buried that were never claimed, and nobody ever claimed them. So it's a sad story, sad story, and it's people just they lost all faith and everything on when it comes to that. There was a lot of funeral homes got sued because they took bodies there. They were saying you had to see something, man. Anyway, one of the family members works for a funeral home in Chattanooga. It has a lot of tentacles to it, and there's a lot of people still not happy. I mean, there's no closure for them. And I'll say this, last thing I'll say, when the county found out that the state was not going to give them any extra money for what was going on, that investigation and or search stopped really quickly. They let them do some poll tests in the area they were searching. I can't say for sure. My fear is there were more bodies. My fear is that were never found. I can't conclusively say that, but that is the prevailing thought, that there were more, because look how many they had found up to that point. And they stopped the search. They did some poll tests. If you know the poll test, they go down. But I suspect at some point somebody's going to come back around and do investigations on that. I don't know. I can't say what I don't know. I'm just saying that's the feeling. And they really are upset with the local law enforcement for what they think was not following up on investigations even before that to find that sooner than they did. So it's a very ugly story, and it ripped apart this community, the community in the area. The Marsh Crematory, yeah. I wonder what they did with the big stone. They had a big stone that was out there. They moved it. I just don't know where they moved it to, but I'd heard at one time, but I don't remember where that was. But anyway, and not everybody with that name is bad people or did wrong. It's just this little family, and they say it was all he took the fall for everybody. We'll just say that he took the fall for everybody. He went and did 12 years, and he's out. So he was a very good athlete in the area. Was well known as I want to think a running back. I could be wrong with that, but somebody can remind me from the area that watches. But horrible, just absolutely horrible. So yeah, I think that would probably happen one day, my man. I think that will happen if you get right. Yeah, Jerry, have a great day. God bless you. Prayers for you, prayers for me, prayers for the nation. We'll see you this afternoon for racing and sports. Got a lot to talk about. Lots and lots to talk about. We'll see you then. Take care. Cornbread Man is out.
does it hurt so much when the day breaks? Why does it hurt so much when the day breaks? It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. Out on the airwaves, mud soaked and loud. Cornbread man talking, biscuit boy proud. Static crackles like a rattlesnake's tail. Voices rolling like a freight train wail.